Alright guys, we're back today with another base plate and wiring harness mount. This is a 2003 Jeep Wrangler. We're going to be installing a Roadmaster Baseplate kit. Here's the part number. So along with the baseplate kit for this vehicle, we were able to find a wiring kit like we have used before. This one's actually made by Blue Ox. Sometimes you've got to go through different brands when you get things. Roadmaster, for whatever reason, doesn't make this kit. I'll go into a little more detail later on in the video when we actually install this kit about the drawbacks of it. So the drawbacks on the wiring harness is if you're going to install a brake like the InvisiBrake or anything else, and you have to have a signal coming from it, these wiring plug kits do not come with a diode. So what happens is if you're driving the vehicle regularly and you apply the brakes, it's going to backfeed into the braking system and try to brake the car while you're braking the car, in which case you'd have to install a diode. That's not necessarily a problem. It's still really easy to do, and this kit prevents you from having to cut into the vehicle's wires and install the diode. You can put the diode in line here. When we install that, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're gonna get started. This kit only has, I think, 6 bolts that hold it on. And I think we've got to drill just a couple holes, and let's rock and roll. There's 3 bolts down here that are on the back side of where your steering box is and the pitman arm. These 3 bolts are going to get taken off, and that's where the bracket actually mounts up. Alright, so in the directions, it's going to specifically tell you that you need to support the steering gearbox before you take this other bolt out. Steering gearbox right there. Brad, see if you can give it a little wiggle. So, it's in there tight, but as soon as we take this other bolt out, it would be ready to fall. So over here on this side, there isn't any bolts to come out. There's a hole in the frame right there. And that's just going to go through, and then we'll have to drill a couple additional holes actually into the frame. All right, so there is a bracket here that's going to help support. Looks like a giant washer. It's going to go on the back side of this. All right, so on this one, what we just figured out is there's a small bolt here that holds the little plastic cover on the front. We're gonna have to take that out, and then that'll allow the brackets can actually go into that hole, and then we're gonna drill another hole through the slot, and then there'll be a 3rd hole there on the back. All right, so the directions here tell us to tighten up the right side, and then basically we get it level. Level is always kind of what you want to think it is. In this situation, we're gonna try to make sure that it's the same distance from the bumper on here as it is over here. Then what we're gonna do, tighten up this first bolt we put in, and then we're gonna drill 2 more holes, finish drilling this hole all the way through, and then we'll drill that hole. And we'll tighten it up, and then that's basically the installation of it. Loctite all the bolts. All right, this is one of those times where spending a little bit of extra money on your drill bits really gonna pay off in time this kind of stuff takes. I use Milwaukee's Cobalt ones. I find that they really work good. A little bit of cutting tool lubrication help make your battery drill. Helps the bit last a whole lot longer. So. All right, so based on the size of the bolts, these are a 1/2-inch bolts. The torque spec for them is going to be 57 foot-pounds. It's getting kind of foggy in here. Brad's going to lock that on and go through all the bolts real quick. Make sure they're all torqued down. And there's one. So you might be wondering why this is the only one that had a washer on it. That's because it was a slotted hole. So they put a washer on that one. It's a really simple kit, 6 bolts. You gotta drill equivocally 2 holes. The way this one works, that goes in there, locks in. That's where your tow bar is going to mount up. And that's all you see. You got a spot for the safety chains. And then this little bracket here is where we will end up putting the wiring harness so that you can hook up so that the lights work. So that'll be the next step. We're going to pause for a sec, get reset up on the back side of the Jeep, and go from there. All right, so after looking at it, the easiest way to do this wiring harness, which is all laid out here, it's going to be to have the Jeep up on our jack stands the opposite way. I've talked about this before. Having the rug really makes it easy to not have to work on the concrete. If you had a lift, it would be even better. But we don't do enough of this kind of stuff to have a lift here, so we roll with the jack stands. All right, so we got to figure this one out, exactly where our wiring harnesses go. And then basically, it's really simple. You disconnect the wiring harness out of the light, pop this in. This basically becomes a T, and this brings all this stuff in and lets the lights work like they would before. The way this works, simple way to remember, yellow has 2 L's in it, that's the left side. So we'll feed this up to the left. All right, so the way this works, we got our factory harness. Put that in to that. Listen for the click, then we can pop that back out of the way. Grab our harness off the light. Click it in, push it back. Hit the camera, we'll clean the back of this side off. Get all that grime off of there. Now we'll route the wires over to the next side. Of course, avoiding exhaust, anything else. That's going to be this set. Brad's going to mount, run over to the other side. Let's get a stick.
Yeah, I want it to be in there.
So we're going to route it right here by the mount, basically for the gas tank. It'll go behind that bracket to come out there. So we're going to use one of our, we've got some fiberglass fish tapes, and that's how we're going to get this run across. All right, guys, so we finished up the Jeep. Customer's on his way here with the motor home. we're gonna do an oil change on his motorhome real quick. Then we're gonna show him how to hook this up. We didn't record the other side. We were having a little trouble there getting the wire to feed through, but fed through just fine. We got it connected, and then run up here to the front. So this one's just a simple 4-pin connection. And the bars, we'll show you the tow bar setup once he gets here a little bit later with the motorhome, and you kind of see how it hooks up. And so we'll be back. All right, so the customer's got his Jeep hooked up. He's about to head out. Take a look at it real quick. All set up on his motorhome. Lights are working. Just hit the brake. All right, well, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment below if you got any questions or you've got a vehicle you're thinking about flat towing. You can give us a call, 843-999-6607, and give us a subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks.